Hey up lads and lasses, Fletch here from Ultimate Halo, and these guys, Spartans, we love them, they're absolute units. We wouldn't be able to play a Halo game without them, and truthfully the franchise would not be the same if you replace them with anything else. But with that in mind, what about these guys? The Zeta Halo elites, Dino Boys. You see, 343 Industries confirmed in their latest Q&A that Playable elites, much to fan disappointment, will not be returning in Halo Infinite, or at least they don't have plans to. So I really want to get to the crux of why this is the case and explore what possibilities there could be and what impact you could have to bring them back in the future.
Ultimate Halo.
First of all, let me know in the comment section down below, are you disappointed that they're not present in Halo Infinite as playable characters in multiplayer, and let me know why. So I actually did really like the Q&A, there was some fantastic insight into Halo Infinite on the whole, and there were so many positives, and I do not want to diminish any of that. But with that in mind, I do think it's important we discuss why they're not a thing. So in essence, 343's response to the question of playable elites is that the game is focused around the Master Chief and the simulations of Spartans fighting each other, which is pretty consistent with their other titles, and I think it's worth revisiting why 343 stopped doing it in the first place. Now obviously AAA games are complex beasts. Sometimes things just don't make the priority list. Some might argue it's not hard to make playable elites, but to that point I would disagree and actually say they take up a lot more time than you might think. Let's put it this way, in a first-person game, you need to create first and third-person assets. The view that you're seeing in first person isn't always the same animation that's played in third person, or from another perspective. We won't delve deep into the technicalities, but it means that you do have to recreate all of these different animations for each weapon, vehicle, and world interaction, and each weapon has to be designed very early on to be usable with those differently scaled hands. And yes, whilst I appreciate that people will argue, well, elites use these weapons anyway, everybody uses these weapons, which is a perfectly valid point, but you also need to take into account player usability and also, once again, those first person animations. Okay, so the next debate is, well, Bungie managed to do it, and that's absolutely correct, my friend. And whilst it made sense for Halo 2, because the Arbiter was a key character that you played throughout the campaign, they added them for Halo 3 and Reach, and obviously you didn't play as any elites in the campaign. But in doing this, there are some issues that continue to lie in Halo multiplayer. But before we talk about that, I'm nearly at 100,000 subscribers, so make sure you hit that subscribe button for more iconic Halo Infinite content, and I promise that I will use hidden experience saying iconic in more videos. I promise. I won't let you down.
Don't make a girl a promise if you know you can't keep it.
Iconic. Okay, so back to Halo Infinite multiplayer, and I'm sure that you're all aware that elites have a different anatomy to humans. Go figure. And this is a key contributor as to why they're not used in a competitive setting. You see, elites in their neutral poses do have more hunched over necks, which causes issues for hitting headshots from behind in particular. In Halo, a focus is placed on making sure everything is balanced. As such, having random players benefiting from extra headshot protection does create an unfair advantage. However, this doesn't mean that there isn't a use case for playable elites. Game types such as Invasion that provide an asymmetry to the map and objective work just fine because you know what the expectation is with the enemy team. You know that they're elites and that you're a Spartan and vice versa. But with that in mind, is it simply too much work to put in playable elites for one single game mode? And that's not even assuming that anything like Invasion is in Halo Infinite. I would say it's a little bit overkill and resources would be better suited elsewhere, but it doesn't mean there aren't other use cases for this area. The machinima community loved utilising the elites. It was a great way to tell different stories and for some to create in-universe stories that expanded the possibilities. Now overall, is this a missed opportunity? Yes, I would say it is, and I think giving the community the tools to express freedom and creativity is obviously a key pillar in Halo Infinite's development. 343 have made that abundantly clear, but I also understand why this hasn't quite made the list just yet. But I do want to call out that 343 said there are no current plans with Halo Infinite, with it being a live service game. There's definitely possibilities of this happening in the future, and if fans want these types of features, make sure your voice is heard as long as you're doing it respectfully and and putting forward a genuine case to developers. There's no reason why they wouldn't at least look at the possibilities, and you have to remember that they have full teams looking and assessing at what the community wants and needs at the same time. Lastly, I do just want to say it's cool if you want them, and it's cool if you do or don't really care if you want them or not. I think those who do seem to want them have a really passionate group in the community, which I totally respect, and I think all sides should be catered in some way or another if possible. But I want you to let me know what you think. Do you want playable elites in Halo Infinite? Let me know in the comment section. And once again, my name is Jack Fletcher. Make sure you subscribe to get us on that blessed 100,000. It just cannot come soon enough. And I will see you next time on the one and the only Ultimate Halo.
Subscribe now to Ultimate Halo for more unfriggin' believable Halo content.